Welcome to the Filmcast review of The Running Man, which is available in theaters right now. I'm going to read the plot summary from the internet. In the near future, The Running Man is the top-rated show on television, a deadly competition where contestants must survive 30 days while being hunted by professional assassins, end quote. Let's talk briefly about our thoughts on the original Arnold Schwarzenegger Running Man. We've all seen it, I believe, right?
Oh yeah.
And yeah. What Jeff, what were your thoughts on that original Running Man? Were you a fan?
I mean, as a kid, yeah. I haven't watched it in decades, but it's hard for people to understand if you didn't live through the 80s, but there weren't any superhero movies.
What?
Right? There weren't any superhero movies. And I was a kid who was obsessed with comic books and superheroes and professional wrestling, to be frank. And boy, is Running Man a mashup of those sensibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's this bizarre, over-the-top thing. The dude from Family Feud was the bad guy? What is that? Like the most wholesome guy you could tune in when you stayed home from school. You tune into the Family Feud and see this wholesome dude being friendly with the families. All of a sudden, he's evil? What's that about? But the bizarre rogues gallery of hunters that were after Arnold Schwarzenegger was as close as we were getting at that time to, superhero ideas and sort of professional wrestling ideas mashed up. And it was campy and wild and over the top, but man, it was a blast as a kid. I have not revisited it in a long time. I suspect it will feel a little cheesy now, but I loved it as a kid. Sure.
I did revisit it recently when it was on Netflix, and I do think you're right. It was quite cheesy. I think it felt like designed around Arnold Schwarzenegger's sensibilities, as would be logical to do. But he's such a kind of badass hero in the movie, right? In a way that I don't think is in the original material necessarily, nor even in the remake. And so that kind of, and also the scope of the Running Man is much smaller, right? Sorry, the Schwarzenegger Running Man is much smaller than the book or what's in this new movie. That said, Devindra Hardwar, any thoughts on the original Running Man before we get?
I also rewatched the original recently, and it's a perfect slice of cheese. It is a perfect example of how we made those movies in the 80s. What is fascinating about it, though, is it just gets into it, right? The beginning of that movie, Arnold's in the helicopter. It's like, no, those are innocent people. I will not do this. That's it. More stakes, moral standing, tells you about the character. He starts punching dudes 30 seconds into the movie.
Yeah.
30, you waste no time. It's called The Running Man.
We really had it all,
We really had it all.
Well,
I'll talk about this movie.
In the new one, it's sick. Instead of him refusing to mow down crowds of innocents, it's he has a sick baby, right? So it's like
he's holding a sick baby.
The same thing. It's basically the same thing. So
anyway, we did have it all.
Yeah.
We didn't appreciate it back then. But perfect slice of cheese. Great Arnold cheese.
Yeah. All right. So all that said, Devindra Hardwar, basically the Running Man Schwarzenegger version has some cool things about it. I do think it gets the over the top nature of the game show component right, in a way that still resonates today.
Yeah. It had political commentary that honestly felt a little chilling, right now, because it was being told in 1987. Yeah. That had some forethought there.
I also cannot get over it. It blew me away as a child. It still blows me away today that they got the Family Feud actual game show host, the only acting job that he ever did. It's like this. It's a big part. It's not a small role.
Yeah,
so
it's actually a really interesting pull, doing something interesting. That movie did interesting things. We'll talk about what this movie did.
I mean, the cover of the original Running Man book, right, which is
so good,
written by quote unquote Richard Bachman, Stephen King's pseudonym, is "Welcome to America in 2025." When the best men don't run for president, they run for their lives. The Running Man. End quote. That is the actual quote from the cover of the original Running Man book.
How many Stephen King adaptations have we been through this year? So many. Life of Chuck.
Too many.
Three.
Long
Three or
Walk.
Four? Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Long Walk and The Running Man. This guy loves books about movement.
Televised acts of walking/running.
Well, these were
for national preservation
written in the same period of his life too.
Yeah.
These are very early, like you said, Richard Bachman books. So
yeah. All right. All that said, Devindra Hardawar, what did you think of Edgar Wright's The Running Man?
I knew this movie was in trouble when I realized Edgar Wright cast Lee Pace, one of the most beautiful men alive. In Foundation, he's literally God of the universe, right? He's so beautiful. Now we're gonna put him in the mask. It's not gonna show off that beautiful face. That's kind of red flag number one for me.
Yeah, that is
red flag. Number two was like, man, we're really taking a while to get going here, huh? Got a lot of setup over here. This is an action movie. I thought this was called The Running Man. Should have a pulse.
Brutal.
I think this movie, it's weird how on paper this movie sounds perfect. Edgar Wright doing The Running Man with Glenn Powell with a great supporting cast, like freaking who else we got? I hate the IMDb list, but
Josh Brolin, Coleman Domingo
especially. All those folks. Edgar Wright makes energetic, fun movies. Like he will bring a lot to this story. That's on paper. In practice, this movie feels like a slog. I don't know what we're doing here. This movie should feel like Run Lola Run. We should be moving. We should be going. There's a lot of great commentary here, and it's weird how this movie feels like if you had told me, 10 years ago, this was an Edgar Wright movie, I would not believe you, because there's no evidence of Edgar Wright's ingenuity, his style, his kineticism. None of that is in this movie. It takes a while to get going, even when it does get going.
I would argue there is one scene in the movie.
It's a trunk.
That is Edgar Wright style.
Yeah. There's one scene that's like a lot of fun.
Well, anyway, go ahead.
It's the trunk.
Let's talk about it in spoilers, but go ahead.
We'll have all the specific moments. But yeah, I just feel like it is kind of anonymous. This feels like his heart wasn't in it. I like Glenn Powell quite a bit, but he is not quite selling me what this movie is. There's a lot of like logic gaps about who this character is. This version of the main character, he's trying to take care of his sick daughter, and his wife. He has a family. He's trying to get money to get them out of the slums. Okay, very relatable. Glenn Powell plays this guy as sort of like, I got to do everything to protect my family. Also, I'm very angry all the time, and therefore I will not do the basic things necessary that I'm here to do to protect my family. It's very confused. This movie doesn't know like what the character wants to do or how it wants to tell this story. We spend a lot of time on characters who are introduced later on who I don't know why we're spending time with this new character lady. It seems very confused. It doesn't seem like very energetic, which is a weird thing. I was mostly bored by it. And I will say this again. I was compelled by the movie about a guy packing boxes to resell shit on the internet this week, the same week. That's what was compelling me.
Yeah. I mean, Devindra is very charitable to movies in general, I find. And
yeah,
I'm actually a little surprised you're not a fan of the new Running Man, sadly.
Right? I'm not saying it's terrible, but for an Edgar Wright movie, this feels way too anonymous. I expect more from him. I expect more from a lot of these people. It just feels like his heart wasn't in it. It feels like a vaguely anonymous action movie that is honestly mostly boring most of the time. Like just really dull. It's called The Running Man and it should be shorter. It feels like it takes too long to get anywhere. There's not much running. Not actually much running from the law. Like even the setup of this is like, oh yeah, you're being hunted, by people around society. That's the game. That's the reality TV game. You're hunting for your life. I'm not going to do the basic effort to really, really hide your face. Really, like there's a lot of thought that was not put into this movie. Your life depends on it. Your family's life depends on it. Put on a fucking beard, dude. Something. This movie I was not with this movie. I wish it was more fun. I don't know why it's so long. It's called The Running Man. It shouldn't be a slog.
All right. I think this is the second or third movie, by the way, that Glenn Powell stars in which he dons very elaborate disguises.
He loves doing that.
He loves putting on the various disguises.
You want to get Glenn Powell to sign onto your movie? Let him put on a fake mustache.
Yes.
And he put on more elaborate disguises in Hitman
That's right.
than he did in this movie,
I think
where
that's
his
true.
life depends on hiding his face. What are we doing here?
Jeff Kanata, your thoughts on The Running Man?
Well, Dave, I guess you could say my thoughts on The Running Man are best summed up in the form of a limerick.
Let's hear it, Jeff.
His oeuvre's consistently strong, so I thought that Edgar belonged in rarefied air, so I felt such despair watching this right get it so wrong.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to go way farther than Devindra. This is the worst movie I've seen this year.
What?
Period.
No.
That's wild.
Period.
No, too far. Okay, go ahead. I'll let you make the case, though, Jeff.
This movie is hot garbage.
Oh,
I've not looked at my watch more times in a movie theater this year.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe that Edgar Wright made this movie.
Yes.
I cannot believe it.
Yes.
It is so terrible, in my opinion. Nothing holds together. I mean, I'm going to reinforce everything that Devindra said, just say it more emphatically, because I do think it's terrible. I do think this movie is terrible. None of it makes any damn sense. He doesn't, like you said, Devindra, he doesn't do anything. Like, you're telling me all I got to do is disappear for 30 days and I win $1 billion? I can do that. Also, how is it possible that they can find me except I'm wearing a goddamn wristwatch the whole time? Like, you don't think there's a GPS tracker in your wrist thingy? Okay. So
I mean, okay, Jeff, to be fair to this movie, it is kind of a 1980s version of what future technology would be, as evidenced by the fact that the most popular thing in America is a TV show.
Well, that's okay.
Which is
so
like,
that,
yeah,
on the face of it, let's step back. And I was about to get into the details that I hate about this movie, but thank you, David. I will pull back the aperture and we will get the 30,000 foot view, which is you are going to do Running Man in 2025.
Yes.
Wow. That seems like a really powerful notion. You can really dig in. And you know what? Your central conceit this time around is that, hey, it's not just hunters that are going after the people. It's literally your fellow citizens that are going to turn you in, that it's all based on an app. And it's a big game show that you get to play at home by seeking out the actual running men in the world. It's not, Arnold Schwarzenegger was in this confined space.
Right. Yeah.
It was like a giant movie set. It was like a giant TV set where, this is the context of the game show is we're in here. This is
like the whole country is,
now it's literally go anywhere you want, do anything you want.
Widening the aperture.
We're gonna leverage the average human being to turn you in, and they get a reward for doing it. That is an awesome take. That's an awesome take. You know what the movie does with that? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. We never, ever see that idea play out. Every person Glenn Powell runs into wants to help him. Why? I guess the movie's trying to make some kind of idea about average people being oppressed by the government trying to fight back, but there's no teeth in that whatsoever. It is completely wasted, and it makes no sense because the movie doesn't show you the other side of that. It doesn't show you that he's not safe wherever he goes. The dude checks into hotels and people are like, hey, wow, cool, you're the guy from TV. Instead of this constant fear of literally every single person at every single moment of the day. Like, that is a powerful notion. That is an amazing idea. The movie doesn't do it. It doesn't even have the strength of its own convictions. It's so
I saw Sam Adams on slate.com write online that this is the rare movie that doesn't hate its audience enough. In the sense that we, in our actual society that we live in, right, specifically in the United States, there are people bragging to the press about turning in fellow residents of the United States into
sign me up. Let me be the militia. I'll do it.
Like that is a thing that is actually happening in our society. And this is a movie that's supposed to be more extreme than what's in real life. Not more extreme, not even close to what is reality. Right?
And it doesn't even like, I agree 100% with what you just said.
Yeah.
But even removing any kind of like real world parallels, just do what you purport the universe of your movie does.
Sure.
Do that.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even do it. And every single person he runs into is the stupidest person. And they do the dumbest things that is completely contrary to their own well-being for no reason whatsoever. There's nothing about Glenn Powell that is endearing or, like, I don't buy it for a second that these people would help this dude. Also, I mean, there's so many things that I hate about this movie. So many things.
Yeah.
I want to hear what your other issues with the movie. So let me hear. So
go ahead.
All right, so Jeff, I understand why you're bothered by the premise, but like, is there one kind of critical thing? Was that the one critical thing that you felt the movie did wrong?
It strips away all the life and personality that even the first movie had. It like every single thing that he does is the stupidest thing he could be doing. His teammates do the stupidest things they could be doing. Like at no point does any of it hold together. The ending is dumb. Every single person he runs into is the stupidest human being that you could possibly encounter. The way that the network behaves is the stupidest. I don't even understand the draw of the show. Like at least with the Schwarzenegger show, the show within the show, right? The Running Man TV show.
Yeah.
I understand why people are tuning in. Like it's dark, it's sinister, but it's compelling watching. Is this? No. And then the movie introduces, I don't want to spoil anything, but the movie introduces the notion of what you see might be manipulated. And once you've done that,
right,
everything has just been thrown under the bus. And it's like, I could not believe, Devindra is right. It's boring. It insults the intelligence of the audience. It's nothing interesting happens. There's no men running. It's like 50 minutes into this movie before any action even happens.
Yeah.
Which is, this is the Running Man. Are you nuts? I don't understand how Edgar Wright could have made this. I don't.
This is a guy who made coming up with a plan to survive the zombie apocalypse in a local tavern feel kinetic and interesting.
Yes. I mean,
it's true. I will agree with you guys that the rapid fire creative editing that we are used to from Edgar Wright movies doesn't feel present here. There's a couple of times when he does it. He does like close-ups and stuff like that. Really quick cut close-ups a handful of times. Like, oh, that's the Edgar Wright I knew from those movies. Well, and then
the creative anything is what I'm saying. Like I didn't think Last Night in Soho was a complete home run, but some of the way those sequences were made,
there are some incredible sequences,
how those were shot. That's interesting, visually interesting. There is so little that's visually interesting about this movie, to be honest.
Okay.
It feels like he's sleepwalking through this movie, and I don't understand it.
I am the most positive person on this show about this movie. I didn't love it. I don't think it's great, but nor do I think it is a complete abject disaster. I mean, what are some good things about it? Okay, Glenn Powell's character is kind of a mess, but Glenn Powell himself remains super compelling. I appreciate that they seemingly did a lot of the stuff in the movie practically. And I do think that is something that Edgar Wright brings, which is like, a lot of it does feel real, even if it has some CG or whatever. Like that is something that I think he brings. It's not as creative or cool as like a Baby Driver or Last Night in Soho or Shaun of the Dead, but it's like, oh, like if in the hands of a different filmmaker, they might have done more of this stuff via CG or something like that. And so like that is cool. Some of the action ideas are cool, like that's kind of where I'm at with that. Like a handful of the action ideas are cool. But yeah, sadly there's a lot of issues with the film. I think we're not going to get into it until spoilers, but like the ending, I think is kind of a disaster. It feels like they reshot it. It doesn't feel like it really fits in with anything else that happens in the film. Oh, here's what I'm going to say. I do think that one thing the movie does really well is the kind of online conspiracy theorizing component of what a show like this would create. And there's a kind of long running thing around that I think is very cool. So, but I think I don't disagree with most of your complaints. I just didn't have them to the same intensity, right? Like, I think you bring up good points. It doesn't feel like it's fast paced enough given what it wants to cover. As Jeff put it, it introduces these really interesting components of the premise and then completely abandons them. Like we should feel paranoia, claustrophobia with everyone. Like, oh, everyone's watching. Like, I never really felt that. So like, it introduces that idea, but it never really does anything with it, and that's a huge bummer. But yeah, Glenn Powell's in it. There's some cool action.
Glenn Powell's in it.
That's your review.
That's my review.
This is not even a good Glenn Powell performance because I think it's so confused. He doesn't early on, always angry guy. In an interview to potentially save his child's life to make some money by going on TV. I'm going to be still pissed off during this interview, even though this makes no sense. If I really want to protect my family, I would not be shouting, or be so viciously. Like, he doesn't do anything intelligently. It just seems like in every scene he is a different character, practically, or like he was getting different notes. It seems really confused. That's all I can
totally agree with that. And also he displays so little consideration for his family through the entire third act of the movie. At no moment is he thinking about them. He has this opportunity to speak to the world. At one point he talks to them, but like Fincher's so right. It is confused. It is bonker. None of it holds together for me.
Let's get into spoilers momentarily, but I will say here's a cool part of the movie, guys. I know a bunch of people that worked at Freevee, the Prime Video, now Prime Video service.
They love the name.
I have to say, it is hilarious that the TV show network in this world is called Freevee, and the way that they say the word Freevee is therefore really funny in retrospect. Like, the reason we're all fighting is because of Freevee, or like if it's bad, it's on Freevee. And I was just like, okay,
there's a lot of awkward product placement in this movie too.
Oh yeah. That's true. Like Monster Energy drink. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Liquid Death.
I mean, ultimately,
Liquid Death. Yeah.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the gladiator problem, in my opinion, right? That this movie has, which is it wants to condemn the audience for enjoying such feats, such like, pyrotechnics and such, and people getting tortured and killed and so on, and violence on screen. And yet, one of the ways it tries to attract an audience or to get an audience going is through its action, which you guys don't even think was particularly well done. But like,
no.
It wasn't.
That's like a second or third tier problem, which I don't think we can even get to because this movie fails at the most basic levels of delivering drama and tension and making me care about these characters. Like, we can have that conversation. You know what Gladiator is, though? It's an entertaining ass movie with memorable characters and great performances. Yeah. With a score that is iconic, that has echoed for decades. This movie doesn't even have that. So then, we can also talk about how presenting, reality TV show with violence is also commentary on our culture. We're not even getting to the point where this is supposed to be like a revolutionary text, and there's just like nothing especially in a year where we got one battle after another. It just feels like this movie's ideas are stuck in the 80s, and nobody really thought too hard about like applying them to today.
Also, I like Coleman Domingo.
Yes, he's fun.
But Steve Harvey was right there, you guys. We could get the new host of the Family Feud.
Coleman Domingo was so good in this movie, but he had a much smaller role in this film than the host from the 80s Running Man, if I recall correctly, right? So anyway, let's do a few spoilers for The Running Man. Spoilers for The Running Man starting right now. So Okay, Jeff, I think you had some particular issues with the last third of the film, right?
It's a mess, and it is. So the thing that I wanted to say that, and Devindra talked about the Lee Pace thing, but
yes,
this movie has, I think, the most pointless mask off reveal in the history of cinema. It does nothing. There's a moment where literally our main character says, "Take your mask off, and then I'll tell you." And I'm like, "Oh shit, who's gonna be? Is it gonna be some Josh Brolin?
It's clearly gonna be someone we know from before."
Yeah,
I mean,
it's his daughter.
The thing that's so bizarre, guys, too, is they introduced the idea of knowing who Lee Pace was earlier in the film.
It does seem like there is a edit of this or a script thing that got cut out.
Right, where Lee Pace is like Lee Pace is a famous person in this universe, and then
no setup. Setup.
There's a one reference to him, but it's like you need to see his face before the reveal, or else
you have to understand. You have to understand what it would mean for him to have changed sides, right? Which we do not know. He literally explains it later while they're fighting. He's like, "Hey, you think you're the only one ever?" But like that needs to have been set up for the mask reveal to mean any damn thing whatsoever.
Yeah, this movie should have opened with cold open to Lee Pace running.
Right,
Lee Pace running.
Something like that.
Lee Pace running. Lee Pace getting ostensibly killed.
Yeah.
It really does feel like they ran out of time and budget on this one. Like it really does feel, and that's also evident, in my opinion, in the ending, which is Glenn Powell comes back, and everyone in the audience wants to support Glenn Powell, and that's how he wins at the end. And that's it feels
so dumb.
Really rushed, really, really rushed. And so I do think they kind of just ran out of time. Like that is what it feels like. It feels like they just didn't finish the movie to some degree.
I feel like they didn't begin the movie, to be honest.
So, and once you get to, we can AI your face saying whatever we want. What are we even doing here, man?
But the first movie did that. Like that was
I do think that I actually like that a lot more than you, Jeff, because I do think it's. I don't think the movie does really a great job exploring it, but it is like, hey, maybe we don't want a future where there's media consolidation, and also people have the ability to manipulate people's images and sounds like willy-nilly, whatever they want. Like that is a bad future. Right. It is one that leaves us depending on physical media. So that's another thing. I couldn't get into this during the main review, but I do support that, like physical media.
Yeah, the old TVs, that was cool. There's a line, what's cool about these? They don't watch you back.
Right.
Later on in the movie, dude is having a whole covert meeting with the other family who's taking care of him in front of the TV.
I know.
That supposedly can hear and watch them.
The movie does nothing to establish this surveillance state that it seems to want to give lip service to. But how amazing would it have been to actually make that real? Like, you've got these weird orb cameras that are floating around. Why would you need that? Why not have it be the entire world is watching you, and we are making a television show about, that is constituted from all of the different angles that we get on you all the time anyway. Like, it's just the most basic logistics of how this TV show works. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, the whole thing is like, okay, you got to deliver a tape to us once a week or once a day. I don't remember even how often.
I actually like that part. I think it actually makes a lot of sense.
Everybody's like, okay, all you do is pre-do all the tapes. And it's like, well, then what the fuck is the point of that? Like, if that's like the most basic strategy that every Running Man uses, then maybe the show needs to rethink some of the rules. Like, you have to have
the hard part,
deeper...
from my perspective, is dropping off the tapes. Like that is the hard part, right? Is not the making of them. But
if literally every child is willing to help you that you encounter,
right? No, yeah.
Or if you're going to have $1 billion, $1 billion, you're going to have $1 billion. Where in this world, it's established that like 10 grand is a lot for a family, right? They're going to give you $1 billion. Guess what? You'll be able to leverage that in certain, like, the movie just doesn't even do any of the work that you would think like, you know what?
You
Watching Survivor at all, you get to see people making incredible strategic leaps. Actual reality shows have people doing remarkable things because there's incentive. This movie has the biggest incentive in the world. And yet he doesn't. He goes and checks into a hotel and hangs out.
Multiple hotels. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I think you had. It's interesting, Jeff, because you had very similar issues with The Long Walk. I think you were very kind of. You also did not appreciate. I think there's just something about Jeff and how Stephen King writes about televised spectacles.
Perhaps because it was done in the 80s, but that movie also I think did more at the very least than this one did.
I did not have a point of view. I did not have an issue with basically any of that, Jeff. I mean, I think that. The orbs is like that. Like I could imagine a version of the Running Man TV show within the movie that was watchable and interesting, right? Like the movie gave me enough to do that.
There's a line that becomes this refrain where he shouts, "Stop filming me."
Yeah,
which could have actually landed if everyone was being filmed all the time, and the movie made that point, right? Except. In this thing, he just sounds like a petulant child. You're on a television show. You signed the contract. You idiot.
We are all being filmed more today in real life than
I agree. We live in a society where someone can take like an intimate moment that you have on, with a loved one in public and make it into an international spectacle with their phone. Like that is the actual society we live in. And we don't even get that kind of dystopian feel from the movie. I do think that is a big missed opportunity. Having said that, I don't have an issue with the mechanics that Jeff brought up. And I think that, look, for all the issues of the movie, like I said, I think the movie has its heart in the right place, right? AI deepfakes are bad. Physical media is good. Connecting with each other in person and staying off the internet is good. Like, those are actually messages I support. I'm being 100% earnest right now. Did the movie do a lot
from carrying all this water? You're really digging it.
Did the movie do enough to support all those messages? I don't know.
Are ideas compelling? Yes. Did this movie actually engage in those ideas? No, but ideas.
Hell, what a face that guy has.
What a face that guy has.
Okay. Go ahead, Devindra. Last thoughts.
I'm going to have to dip soon, but I do want to lay this out because we're not talking about how stupid. The very basic premise of this movie is you have to hide yourself. Hide your face. Change your face or something. And his solution is to take the most basic ass costume from William H. Macy's shop, which is a thin mustache and glasses. No beard, no other physical transformation.
At no point does he look unrecognizable as Glenn Powell is the problem of the movie, right? Like,
why would you why would you not get a fucking tent and go out in the woods for 30 days?
But also, shave your head and look completely different. Dude,
you have to drop off the tapes, Jeff.
Oh yeah, you have to drop off the tapes. Can't pre-shoot all those and give them to a kid.
Well, yeah, that would have been interesting, right? But like then the kid is in jeopardy.
Literally any strategy at all.
Yeah,
on display. Literally any strategy.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
Yeah. He's not much for the strategizing. Sorry, Devindra. Did you finish your point?
That's my main point. Like, because the movie starts with that. Like, these are the stakes. People will find you. Your life and your family's life depends on it. I'm going to wear a thin mustache with glasses. I'm not going to shave my hair. I'm not going to put on a beard. I'm not going to physically transform myself in any particular way. I'm not going to wear a hat. I'm not going to wear shades. I'm not going to wear a face mask, which is a thing in this world that exists. I shall do nothing.
Take 5 minutes of your life and just game out if the rules as presented were real. You don't think that people would be standing around those deposit boxes 24/7 with their phones out, ready to make $10,000? You think that wouldn't happen in the real world? That there would be any moment where there would be not 400 people standing around those deposit boxes? You think that $1 billion you wouldn't come up with a better freaking idea about how to hide yourself and how to do like the movie makes no effort, and I hate it. I hate it so very much.
Well, I sense like Jeff, even for movies you don't like, you don't typically get this angry. I feel like you feel like the movie has insulted your intelligence in some way.
I do feel that way. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that is the case.
And I think that the reason I get so excited about it is that these are good filmmakers.
Yes.
You should know better.
That's the main thing. I expect better. I expect the bare minimum here.
All right. Well, despite everything we have just said, at the end of the day, it is really impressive that Edgar Wright made a movie. Thank you so much for watching this video of the Filmcast. Check out these other videos that we have available, and be sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get other videos from us in the future.
You can also go to thefilmcast.com to catch all of our audio podcast versions of all of our episodes.
And support this podcast at patreon.com/filmpodcast, where you can sign up for ad-free episodes and exclusive After Darks.
Thanks so much to everyone who makes the Filmcast possible.